Which one?
Let's do it. Attention, Texas Roadhouse. I got a very beautiful cowgirl myself tonight. This here is Irene. She said she's feeling 21. Let's give her a round of applause. All the proud of me wants up this cowgirl. Now loud the proudest Texas size. Yeah! 1, 2, 3. Yeah! Right on, cowgirl. Woo! I like the spirit.
Once the biggest mall in the state, now it's a sort of ruined, barren, abandoned wasteland, which supposedly had Porygons for Pokemon Go, but didn't. So it was a bit of a waste. But it's okay because Chuwan wanted to come here, and we did just subject her to the birthday yeehaw at Texas Roadhouse. Exactly.
Sit. Stay. You need to back away a little bit. I feel crowded. I don't like to be crowded. Stay. Stay. Oh well,
Don't do the
you
hand
stay
thing with the
this one.
raptors in Jurassic World.
I know, but I don't have hands. You can do
Okay,
it.
it's only going to go so long.
Stay. Stay. High five. Okay.
Okay, so bear with me here. Sometimes you want to do something with a camera and you want to talk to yourself on the camera. So I'm shooting this with the iPad, and I'm shooting it using Filmic Pro to do some testing. So I'm working it with a remote camera remote over here, and hopefully it's working all right. So I told you in the last Tedium Unlimited that I had ordered a Zhiyun Smooth Q smartphone gimbal, which is sort of the cheap version of their Smooth 3 line or whatever, but it's for a smartphone. It didn't come in yesterday like it was supposed to, which I was pretty pissed off about. 9 o'clock last night was the deadline, and then I got the note from Amazon saying, oops, sorry, it wasn't delivered today, which I thought, duh. And we'll try to get it to you between now and Wednesday. It's like, whoa, you know, Amazon's pretty damn good about their delivery stuff. So when they blow one, you know, you would think that they would be scrambling doubly hard, but that response that said, we'll try to get it to you between now and Wednesday was unbelievably poorly thought out, because of course they did get it to me at like 10 o'clock this morning. So here is the box of the Zhiyun Smooth Q. Don't get them mistaken. The Smooth Q is plastic, for starters, which is why it's so much cheaper. So the one I got on Amazon came with a couple of accessories. You know, just depends on which kit was available to get for immediate shipping. Mine came with this little extra arm that you can mount to the bottom of it and have a microphone and a light attached on the side if you choose to do so. I might use this somewhere else, like on my regular camera, because that would be... Anyway, it also came with a little mini tripod, and I'll show you that. So let's start with the accessories. Your Smooth Q comes with this little case. It's like a little guitar case, maybe a ukulele, small ukulele. And I don't know if you remember, but back in Chicago in the 1920s, the stereotype was that gangsters carried their, heck, what do they call them? They call them Gats, but they weren't Gatling guns. Tommy guns. They carried the Tommy guns around in guitar cases, or violin cases, or whatever it happened to fit in. And I have to say, this does sort of bear an uncomfortable resemblance to something you might carry a gun around in. So I don't know if I'd be careful going through airports, right? Here is the Smooth Q. Now I'll bring it a little closer there. Yeah, and it's turned off. Now I'm going to turn it on, and when I do, you can see my phone's already mounted in it. When I turn it on, it should stabilize the phone. There we go. Now the default mode on this thing is so that I can turn it like this, and you'll see that the camera is facing me still. Okay, that's the intent. But if I try to tilt it back up or tilt it back down, the camera remains pointed ahead. And maybe I should turn this way to demonstrate that. So you can see it from the side a little bit there. See? It doesn't do that. So of course the point of a gimbal is to make a nice steady shot. Now I can change the mode. Now I believe I just put it in the mode that's going to stabilize it in all axes. So once again, it's not going to turn. But now, when I pan this way, the camera remains pointed forwards as we cross the... I'm not sure which mode I'll use more often. I think it's the first mode. And then the, let's see, we go back, and then I think we go back, and then we go 2 clicks. It is a complicated map to get through. And I think this mode, it's just locked. So, in other words, now it's actually going to tilt, although a little bit more slowly, so you still get a smoother move. And back to the original mode. So that's basically it. Now it also has, I think I'm going to turn it this way again so you can see it from the side. With the joystick, I can control its movement here. So in addition to our original, whatever mode you've stuck it in, then you can manually reposition it so that it's pointing at whatever you want. And that seems nice and smooth. So disadvantages I see to it right off the top of my head is, one, I cannot get it to work with a case on my phone. The grips to hold the phone in don't stick out far enough. That's bad. The camera does really need to be positioned with the lens on this side, which means that this part here is covering up the entryway to the phone, so I cannot attach a cable to that like a microphone if you wanted to do that. So those are the big disadvantages I see right off the top of my head. The case one really bugs me because I always keep my phone in a case. Luckily mine's the easy one to take the phone out of, but I just don't like taking it out. Also, I forgot to mention, this is the other piece I got. There's a standard thread at the bottom of the handle here, and you can thread in a tripod or this accessory or whatever other standard device you'd want to get. So that's basically it. I guess it'd be great in an earthquake too. If you just set it here and oops, wrong way. Pointed it at whatever it is you wanted to shoot video of, and even if it were rocking, things weren't gonna go. Anyway, I really haven't had a chance to play with it too much, so I'm gonna play with it. And I don't know if it's gonna be on this Tedium Unlimited or the next Tedium Unlimited, but I'll give you some more information about it after I've had a good feel for it. So far though, it seems to do exactly what a gimbal's supposed to do. That's a good sign. That sounds right. I had to go to work the next day. 6 minutes to maximum eclipse, and I've been released. Well, my watch says 4 minutes to maximum eclipse. And you can see what we see. And this is it. The moment of maximum. So, here is where I was at that time. So here's what happened. This could, in theory, be, oh shit. Well, it could be the closing chapter in the my house got hit by a car saga. So, here's what happened. I told you I was subpoenaed for court, and I did in fact appear at court. There were 3 police officers there and 2 detectives who had shown up. The initial reaction from the prosecutor was that there was no way that the defendant was going to take it to a jury trial with me there, having looked at the photos and identified her as the driver. It turned out that her defense was she wasn't the one driving. I don't think that's true. Not that I saw the driver particularly well, but I saw the passenger very well. And it wasn't her. So, and I saw them at the point where they had just sort of exited the car. And this woman was not on the passenger side again. I don't know how the police identified who was the driver and who was the passenger, but, you know, that's how I identified them as one and the other. Which she claims that, in fact, she'd just been helping the other woman get out. Who, tellingly, the other woman was a no-show, although had been subpoenaed. Which I think is also telling. Perhaps these two had a falling out and she was trying to bail it off. I don't know. But she was fighting it, and her mom was giving her the advice to not plead no contest. And her defense attorney knew and was trying to talk her into it, plead no contest, and the prosecutor knew, and but they were adamant, even when I identified her. This is before the trial. The prosecutor asked me, can you look at these pictures and tell me? I was like, yeah, that's the driver. Thinking, okay, we'll tell the defense attorney. And then they had the defense attorney come in, and they said, would you identify, would you talk to the defense attorney? I said, sure. And they asked me to identify, and said, yep, that's the woman. And he says, well, she claims she wasn't driving. And I said, well, I saw them kind of getting out of the car. And he goes, okay, I'll go talk to her. And he left. And they still wanted a jury trial. And so then they went and had to talk to the judge. And according to the prosecutor, the judge's eyebrows they said, well, the owner of the house identified them getting out of the car, and the police officers are all here, and they've identified her as the driver. Her blood alcohol was 0.27, which is massive. And at that level, they don't check for drugs. This becomes important later. So they had just checked her blood alcohol level for that, and she was massively drunk. So they did that. The judge heard that, and he said his eyebrows just raised and said to the defense attorney, he said, you need to go back and talk to her some more. Because if she pleads no contest, she can get off with a relatively minimum sentence. And if she pleads not guilty and they get her put on, or we put us on the stand, they're not going to be able to do that. They're going to have to give her a much harder sentence. And they went and did that, and she still wanted a jury trial. So this is just stretching on and on and on. And then it comes down to this. They've already put the people in for jury, and they're being screened in other courts. So we have to wait till those jury panels are out before we can get the leftovers to come in and sit for a panel for us to do jury selection, which of course was going to take us well through lunch, and then this trial will run on till tomorrow. The problem is that tomorrow President Trump is going to be in town, and he's going to be downtown right there where the courts are, having one of his Nuremberg rallies. And so the jurors don't want to be downtown. Prosecutors don't want to be downtown. The police don't want to be downtown. Defense attorney doesn't want to be downtown. Probably the judges don't want to be downtown. Nobody wants to be downtown tomorrow. Except, I guess, the Nazis to support Mr. Trump. In any case, so it was likely that they would postpone the second day of trial, or even the first day of trial, until a later date, so that they could have a better shot at jury selection. And so the prosecutor basically said, look, you had a .27. If you go for a jury trial and we have a delay, we're going to ask the lab to redo her blood work and check for drugs. And if they find drugs, and they certainly found drugs in the car, then you've got a whole new set of charges you're going to get. And that finally convinced her to plead no contest. But she swore she wasn't driving. Now, subsequently, I was listening to the cops talking, and one, I was right, she was in bra. I couldn't, at the time, I was still kind of thinking maybe it was some sort of a hot new party dress, but it sure looked like she was in her bra and panties to me. But as you may recall, well, it turns out she was. Her clothes had been ripped off in the door of the car. So her dress was actually wedged in the driver's side door. But no, I wasn't driving. That happened when I was helping the other woman get out. It's like, holy crap. So, and apparently she was mean to the policeman. She was belligerent. Which also, when you go to a jury trial, and that's revealed, that also doesn't play in her favor. So, I mean, just across the board, this girl was stupid. She was, I mean, so she was late to court, considerably late to court. So, yeah. Anyway, she pled no contest. They had to, a little bit, they did a presentation of the facts that the prosecution was going to put forward, and the judge dismissed everyone that was here for the case that had been subpoenaed, with 5 minutes to spare, or 6 minutes to spare, for the maximum on the Eclipse, which turned out to be quite the wet. It's still eclipsing right now. You can't tell. I thought it was supposed to be 66%, but it feels like it was like 20%. And I've seen solar eclipses here in Phoenix that I thought were less than 66, but the sky was darker. So I don't know. Anyway, got the day off for the rest of the day, and I'm gonna go have myself a pizza for lunch, and then I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna spend this time productively doing some stuff I didn't get done over the weekend, since I've got the day off. So that's it. This may be the last we ever hear of driving the car through the house. It won't, because there's still restitution phase. I'm going to ask for some money from her, too. I'm not sure how much. I'm guessing probably around $3,000 for my deductible and for my
time off from work.